Good evening, Blob kids, Blob people, Blob pets, Blob plants, and various household Blob items. This is Blobfest 2020, the home edition, and I'm your dashing and daring, sort of young, Blobfest reporter, Dash Daring. If you're just joining us for the night, we're shortly about to begin our third and final double feature. And if you've been with us since noon, when the insanity started, congratulations. This is our final showing of The Blob tonight. If you can make it through this last screening, you'll have completed the Blobfest 2020 challenge, for which Dash will commend you. Dash is now on to his dinner bucket of popcorn, and it's just as salty and buttery delicious as the last three he's had. Concessions like these are available from the Colonial Theater for curbside pickup. But if you can't make it over there to pick up your snacks in time, you can still visit thecolonialtheater.com to grab any manner of official Blobfest merchandise. T-shirts, glow-in-the-dark posters, pins, stickers, snow globes. These can all be yours if you act now. Before we begin our evening double feature, Dash would like to say a few words of thanks. First, for those of you who have continued to support the Colonial Theater during its prolonged closure. From your generous donations and memberships, you've helped keep the theater alive during an unprecedented time. If you'd like to make a donation or become a member of the theater, please visit thecolonialtheater.com for more information. Secondly, I'd like to thank one of our regular artists, Chris Garofalo, for creating this year's eye-catching poster. Some of you might recognize Chris's work from other Colonial screenings as part of our monthly horror and cult programs, and we're thrilled as all get out to have him contribute his visual talents to this year's festivities. He's a real pal. Next, we'd like to thank Pico for sponsoring this year. For over 130 years, Pico has been the largest electric and gas company in Pennsylvania, and it's thanks in part to their generous sponsorship that Blobfest 2020, the home edition, can happen. And last, but not least, Dash would like to thank all of you out there watching us from the comfort of your own homes. And Dash realizes that these are strange and trying times, and... Really? We're gonna go with the whole cliched, we're all in this together now? I mean, I can. In these strange and trying times, we know how important it is to look to some of our, shall we say, creature comforts, to aid us in hanging on to a sense of normalcy. And we at the Colonial Theater and the Blobfest Planning Committee want to thank you, the viewers at home, for your trusting us to bring you your favorite summer experience in the safest way possible to your screens. From the bottoms of our hearts, thank you. It's a great segue. Thank you, Mr. Writer-Man. Before the second screening of The Blob, Dash mentioned that the film possessed a unique quality, something very unlike many other films of the day. Did you pick up on it? While the teenagers may rile up a little bit of rambunctious, as teenagers are often wont to do, you'll notice they're actually a caring bunch. They goof around, sure, but they also recognize people may be hurt, and they set about trying to save their town. This isn't new in cinema, but what is refreshing is seeing the adults who care back, who view the kids with more than simply authoritative scorn and disdain. It's a kindness. The whole community, whether they disagree over particular minutiae, recognize a danger to everyone, and they put aside minor quarrels to work towards the safety of all. Many often read a Red Menace allegory into the Blob, but that's a mistake. Given the McCarthyan witch hunts of the time, it makes logical sense on the surface. However, Dash likes to view the film as filmmakers trying to model a sort of caring community behavior which they wished for in their own hearts. If we can take one lesson from the Blob, let it not be one of fearful reactions. Rather, let it be one of hopeful cooperation and of kind respect. And now, without further ado, it's time for the sci-fi cinema classic you've all been waiting for. The film that gave us Steve McQueen's big screen debut and over 60 years of gelatinous giddiness. Your friend and mine, The Blob.